Hi guys! Oh, sorry, let me fix that. Hi, surprise stream! At least one for me. Oh, I was sure I wasn't going to stream, and I even told Bumpus I'm not going to stream today, but then I changed my mind. I am so oh, sorry, this is very loud, I apologize. Is that better? I think that's better. I am so dizzy. I've been practicing driving, and boy oh boy, hang on. I thought it was such a yellow light today in the room, and so I wanted to switch the light setting up. They got like a light surrounding it, the camera, the web camera. So I thought I was gonna switch that on because I usually never do that, but then that reflected in my glasses instead. So let me know. We are very, very yellow today, but I guess that'll do. It'll be fine. This is a very, very chill stream. I'm just gonna have some crafting today because of me being so tired. I thought, you know what? I just want to go live and share some crafting. And let's continue what we did on Thursday with a little fella, a little dino, who was then gonna be a dragon, who then turned out to be a puppy. Oh, he's not there. He's in here, I think. So yeah. Here he is. Oh, he's got a nail all the way through him, poor fella. Looks so awful. Look at him though, he's so cute. I think he's adorable. So yes, me and Bumpus were actually streaming on Friday. We tried this to stream the two of us. I think, no, it's fine with the music. I think I'm gonna lower it somewhat. I think. We've never streamed together before, and we never had that setup with both of us. So we tried, and most of these streams at the moment are more, tests streams, because we never tell when we're going live or not because of the exhaustion. We never know what will happen, and so therefore it's a lot like test streams. But on Friday it definitely was a test stream because we'd never had the setup. We couldn't know if anyone heard us, and so if you feel like going through that and looking through that, joining us in that vault, be careful with your ears. Because we had no idea how anything were gonna work. Hi guys, welcome. So just be careful and keep that in mind if you watch the vlog. I'm just gonna have a sip of water. So usually on this is gonna sound, sorry, I'm just turning my these are brilliant. Not sponsored, but these are brilliant. I've used them for a client yesterday. I'm just turning the speakers off. Okay, so this is going to be a very chill stream. I had some driving practice today, and usually on Tuesday we involved in, that sounds interesting, but we have open seances and energy readings. And then in the afternoons, we have some reading aloud, that sounds funny, but reading out loud, or some form of crafting with words, right? And then on Thursday, we got crafting like with this little fella. But because of me being so tired today, I just decided let's have some very calm crafting stream now and continue on with this little friend. So I will be doing that. And as of always, it's winter time, so I apologize for the state of my hands. It's just the way it's gonna be. I've actually chipped my nail. I've never seen this before. It's so interesting because I chipped. I'm gonna show you. Sorry for this, by the way, but I chipped the top layer off and not the rest, or a couple of layers, I would say, is off and not the rest of it. So the layers closest to the skin still there, but then I chopped it in half. Kind of. I don't know what happened, but yes. So I apologize for the state of my hands. I hope that you will be able to enjoy this anyway. So I was driving. I was practicing driving, and boy, we were going round and round in roundabouts. And it was so much fun, but I got so dizzy, and I had usually they got 40 minutes, I think it is, one lesson, but then you can book 2 lessons after one another so that you get an 80-minute lesson. And he said to me, my driving instructor said that, oh, I forgot to give you a break in between. So I was so dizzy running around or driving around in these roundabouts. It's such good practice, but boy, I was tired already before, and then I had an hour sleep before practice, and then I was fine. And then she got me to do all these roundabouts, and it's so much fun. I love doing it. But boy. So now, boy. So now we're gonna have some calm crafting, I was thinking. So how are you guys doing? I'm very yellow today, I'm aware of this. The lighting has somehow changed in the room. We've been switching it around a little bit to feel more inviting for the clients when doing healing sessions and such. I don't know, I don't think I've done anything actual to the light, but I must have, or for the camera when we did our test Minecraft stream on Friday. Thank you so much for those who joined in there, by the way, and for joining in the VODs. And like I said before, be careful of your ears if you join in that VOD, because we had no idea how the setup was gonna work, or we're gonna work. So I'm just gonna continue to put this little puppy in his blanket or sleeping bag or what it might be. So that's all I'm gonna do today. Hi guys, welcome. Just very calmly continue doing this with our little puppy. He's adorable, isn't he? I think he's so cute. Sorry for the focus once again, but you can kind of see him there. I think you can see him when we make him as well. So I'm gonna try to just continue with his red blanket surrounding him, his little sleeping bag, and just be here with you, just enjoying our afternoon or morning or what it might be. Like I said, I told Bumpers I was not gonna stream today because I was so tired after driving practice, but then I felt, you know what? I sent him a text message and I was on the phone with him for, my poor Bumpers. He didn't get to work. I was chatting with him for such a long time, trying to see so that he would be okay that I didn't stream, and you know that he will be just fine, which of course it is, because health goes first, right? But we had a real bit of a fallout this morning, and I didn't. I just wanted to make sure that everything was alright. And so I was on the phone with him for. I think I'm gonna continue this all the way around and wrap it around him, I think. For many more minutes than he could afford during his work time. And then it's coming to the conclusion that I wasn't gonna stream. And then a couple of minutes later, I sent him a text message saying, "Oh, I changed my mind." Let me know how the music is for you, how the audio is, and everything. I know I'm very yellow, so the light, I know, but we'll deal with it. I guess we keep the summertime being stuck, you know? We keep it because we've now changed going into winter time. Oh, I guess the lighting wanted the summer to stay. So in here it's summer all the time, right? Or maybe it's just my eyes, maybe it's not yellow at all. I had a healing session yesterday, and we've been we don't really know how to decorate the room, or how to have it in the way that, because we started off being intuitive counseling and for people to just, sit in chairs and talk to us, going from that to then having healing in a more direct way, because it's always been partly healing, but in the way that you have the client lying down, and being comfortable. We switched it around a bit and we didn't really know how it would fit in the room. And so I was wondering, and I spoke to my guides, do I need to, because I worked together with someone doing Reiki before, as I spoke about. And then we were free to move around the body and could reach out to reach every part of the body, so to speak. And in my room, I don't really have in this office, we don't really have the room to be able to put it in that way so that I can reach, every area of the body because of lack of space. So I asked my guides and said, could it still be a professional healing that people, and with professional I mean that people enjoy it and that it feels okay, if I can't reach all the way through the body, around the body? And so yesterday I set it up so that if I wanted to, I could reach all the way, but it was a little bit cramped in here. So I wasn't satisfied with the setup, but I still went on with the healing. And I thought to myself, let's try and see if it works if I stay on just one side, and if the healing will still work, and if it will still be comfortable for the clients. And I started the healing, and I was led by my healing guide as always. And yesterday I got to work with angels that I had not worked with before. Sorry, I'm just gonna lower the music somewhat for me. It's very loud. Ooh. We're still looking to find a way to be able to have music that is a little bit different. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Let's keep it like that. And so I got to work with Raphael, I got to work with David, and someone called Lala. And it was such a beautiful, beautiful experience. Because, as you remember, what I asked was, will I be able to perform a healing? Even though I can't reach all the way around the body. and they took the place on the opposite sides, and we locked hands, me and the angels, and in that way we did reach all the way around. And it was such a beautiful, beautiful experience. And as you work with frequencies and with energy strings, you don't need to be able to put your hands in it directly at the over the area. We can reach it, but I just thought, would it still be as comfortable for me as a practitioner and for my clients? And it seems like it will work. But to work with angels in such a way, such a beautiful experience. Because I worked with, I did a collaboration before with a dear friend of mine, and I spoke about this, how we performed the healing, the two of us. Working with this angel was almost like that feeling, and when we interlocked our hands, such a beautiful experience. I'm so privileged to be doing what I do. Sorry, I'm just looking for red pearls, red beads. That was so beautiful. I watch a content creator and Twitch streamer, Leosa, here on Twitch, and she is so, I think she's so talented, and she do all these beautiful things on stream, and it's really inspiring for me. And each day she's got something new that she's doing. I go, oh, I want to do that too. Without copying. I just go, oh yeah, you can do that on stream as well. So check her out, she's a beautiful streamer. And I don't know her personally, but I just enjoy watching her streams. And I hope I said I don't know her personally, because in my head I went back to it, seeing it as maybe I happen to say I don't enjoy her personally, which would be awful, because I don't know her personally. But I really enjoy her streams, so check her out if you feel like it. But that's really, it serves as an inspiration for me. I actually got the question today. As I got back from practice, I was sat down and had a very late lunch, and the neighboring offices, or because we are established, or not established, but we're in a business complex, and the neighboring business, or how you would say, next door, meaning wall to wall with us, they seem to have late lunch every day. So I got to talk to them today, which was such a beautiful experience that as well. Sorry, I'm just looking for red pearls, or red beads. And I actually got the question because they were wondering a little bit about what we do and the things that you ask. And I actually got the question that, could you draw inspiration from other streamers if they are gaming streamers? For example, if they stream gaming, could you, as intuitive counselor and medium on here on Twitch, could you draw inspiration from them? And I said, well, of course. It's a little bit different, but it's the same. It's the same platform and it's streaming, But more than that, we are humans walking and working, but walking underneath the same sky. We can always draw inspiration from one another. We can always serve with some tip for one another. It's just us, right? We're just humans. So no matter if you are a gaming channel or a crafting channel or if you've never even heard of Twitch, I mean, I know you have since we are here on Twitch, but it doesn't really matter who we are. We can always draw inspiration from one another. But I thought it was a really beautiful question. But at the same time, like I said, we just us. Hi guys, for you who just joined, we are giving this little puppy a blanket or a sleeping bag that I'm just gonna wrap around him. Look, isn't he adorable? I know I say it a lot, but look at him. I think he's so cute. I don't know what he will become, but I definitely think that he's in a sleeping bag. So there's some more beads, and then I will start to wrap the rounds, going, well, doing the loop, doing the loopy loop. I think I will do it like this. I'm just gonna have a sip of coffee. This is a very chill stream. Feel free to ask me anything, to talk to me, or simply sit back and enjoy. Oh, the music disappeared. I don't even know if you can hear the music at all. Oh no. This is a very famous one. I don't know why they put it in as a as not copyrighted, because these tracks are from YouTube, from the library where you should be able, well, it should be suited for content creators to not get copyright strike, but they still put these very famous tracks in, and they get copyright strike all the time. So it's a shame, but this one is beautiful. So I will just get to listen to it. Come on. I know it's famous, but it's such a beautiful track. Can we have this playing all the while? All the time? All the while and all the time. Oh, no, I was in the big one again, when I already had the small one. That's not funny, isn't it? Oh, I'm happy being back on Twitch. As I spoke to Bemper saying that I wouldn't stream today, I just felt this, and I said to him as well, but I'm gonna miss it if I don't. Well, obviously, but I will miss it emotionally and not just situationally. You know, I will actually miss it and not just miss it. So then I just felt like, nah, let's do this. Let's have some crafting done. Get some crafting done. Let's just enjoy, hey? We are working on a Discord server, by the way. So we are gonna get that set up. It is live, but I want to tweak it a little. I don't even know if you can tweak, how much tweaking can be done to Discord, but I'm really looking forward to do as much tweaking as I can. And that's what we're working on, and then we will definitely post a link to it so everyone can join. I didn't think this through, did I? How will I be able to pour new pearls in? I think a couple of more beads. This was a special one. Maybe that means it's done in this loop. Let's see. Yeah. Two more, and it won't be so tight. Well, it doesn't really matter because it's just gonna loop anyway. But it feels good to get one, one loop then. One at a time. Like when I took the roundabouts today. I've been spinning round and round in circles. Literally. But it's been fun. As I was talking to colleagues from across the room, from across the corridor, or actually the same side of the corridor, but right next to us, beside us, the room next to us, and I told them why I had such a late lunch was because I've been practicing driving, and they said, oh, I can't remember what that's like. And it made me think, it's so interesting how quickly we get used to things, you know? This is a lullaby, I think. I'm gonna fall asleep, guys. How quickly we get used to things. That's not at all as we had before, you know? I think it's so interesting. And it's for our survival, I know that. So that we can... Oh! This was loud! Sorry. Jesus. They had some Swedish from me as well. I know I was in the middle of a sentence, I just felt like dropping it. Oh, Mr. Rutter! Hi! I'm fine. You joined at a good point, didn't you? I'm fine. How are you? Long time no see. Oh no. One of the red beads are so much redder than the rest of them. It's gonna be fine, I think. I'm very tired, but I'm happy. How are you doing, Mr. Otter? Ruins? Nah, I don't think so. Look, it can be like, it could be the opening, you know? We can have the opening at the back. We can have the opening at the back. But, you know, fabric looks different, the shades of it. It's always going to be different, so it doesn't really matter. It just makes it more natural, right? Why am I tired? I had driving practice, and I was driving around in a roundabout, or not one roundabout, spinning round and round and round and round in all the roundabouts my instructor could find. So I was just very dizzy in the end of it. So it's a good tiredness. But we're also dealing with exhaustion, as you know. So that's why we're so irregularly streaming. But it's fine. I don't know why I laughed for that. I just feel it's such a beautiful feeling and such a beautiful experience to see you here in chat again, you. And Milksy, welcome. I haven't seen you before. Maybe you've been here. I haven't seen you before. Thank you so much for being here. Truly. So I am gonna secure this. We got a first loop. I'm just thinking of how I will do it. Yeah, I'll put it in this speed. So how are you doing? How are you feeling, guys? Has the day treated you well? Oh, you know what I want to talk about? I started a course. Can I say that? It's an elemental challenge, it's called. So it's in a course, I think, in elemental healing that starts today with George Lissos. Next to, I can't remember her name now. They're on Facebook and they do the course in a Facebook group. And to start to work with, you know, with elemental beings in nature, I'm really looking forward to it. And I had no idea what I set myself up to, but I love it. So, why I'm tired? Because I've been going round in circles in roundabouts. And I'm fairly new to driving, that's why. Look, the first loop is done. We're just gonna continue that way, I think. Did I change the music? Oh, good for the soul. This one is called. So you don't know exactly what the course is about? Well, it's about connecting to spiritual creatures. I read it's about connecting to leprechaun, to unicorns, to fairies, and all those beautiful elementals and elemental creatures that are surrounding us. So I can't say for sure that I know exactly what it's about, but it's in that general direction. Oh, Slewsberries! Hi! Yeah, long time no see, I agree. Oh, that's good. How are you doing? Today, I'm sorry, I was gonna cancel that because today I won't be working. For you, well, we have had, well, sorry. We opened this queue system, and I've only just done it, I think, last week. I set it up, but I forgot to cancel it today, so I won't be working with energy readings this afternoon, but I'd love to chat with you, if that's okay, Slewsberries. And if anything comes through, then of course. I think, Mr. Otter, I won't be able to not talk about it. You know, I'm really looking forward to it. So it's a 5-day challenge, they call it. So we'll see what happens. But if anything comes through Slewsberries, of course, we'll talk about it. But now, if chatting is fine, then that's what I prefer at the moment. For you who just joined, also, I want to tell you, I worked with angels during healing yesterday, and I worked with Raphael and with David and someone called Laura, and it was such a beautiful experience where we interlooped, or we connected, I said this word before, I'm so tired today, I apologize, but we connected our hands, we wrapped us there. I held the hands of angels like this. We interlapped them, and and then we went down, over the body like this. So the hands connected, and we went down like this over the body. And wow, what a beautiful experience it was. It was almost like when I worked with that other healer, that I spoke about. Working with the angels was almost that feeling, and it was such a beautiful, beautiful experience. I'm so privileged being able to work with what I work with. I said it a lot, but I can't stop talking about it, Oh, Foprab, hi. Yeah. I was the first stream you ever watched when you joined Twitch. Oh, wow. Slewsberries. That's really cool. Have you found any interesting creators afterwards? Because there's so many of us out there. Such beautiful, beautiful people who really work as inspiration for me as well. I like, just looking around and Twitch, just so many streamers, but see different perspectives, And like I said before, because I got the question during lunch today. I got the question, can you draw inspiration from a gaming channel as you do intuitive work? And I said, well, of course. We're just streamers, but also, more than that, we're human beings and we walk underneath the same sky, right? We can always draw inspiration from one another, as it should be. I'm happy you enjoy your time, Slisberries. I'm happy for you. It's really interesting that I was the first one you watched, because when you joined the community, I was sure I've seen your name someplace else on Twitch. So it's interesting that that was not the case. But I'm really happy that you're enjoying your time. How it felt to work with angels. It was amazing. And what was also so fascinating was that loads of the healing were then done by them. You know, I actually had to take a step back. Well, at one point in the healing process or in the healing session, I took a step back and I could see these roots coming from underneath the client to intercept, that's the words, with the crystal rain from above. You know, this healing bubbles that I spoke about in the form of a rain. And I could see how the roots from underneath, from nature, from Gaia, and the crystals from above, how they intercept and how they embraced the body of the clients. And how I then could go in and how we could together, the angels and I, connect chakras, not the big 7 chakras, but the small ones in between, and connect them to the root chakra. The experience was amazing. So how it felt as if I was not alone, and as if we did this together. We always do it together, but this was such a safe feeling, secure feeling of that I'm enough the way I am, and that what I do and what we did together was something beautiful. That's how I felt. I'm gonna see if I can stop this queue system actually. Or we will keep it on and you just know that it's not for today. Maybe, but we'll see. For now, we will be embracing this little puppy with his sleeping blanket or with his sleeping bag. I still think he's so cute. I usually don't work with the color right, because there's so much active energy in a very, it's very active. That's all I can say really. Everything is active, but red really brings this feeling of movement and almost sometimes a frantic state, actually, to be honest. So it's very rare that I work with red, but it's also a very calm and very beautiful color for the heart and for the circulation, is what my guides are telling me right now. So it feels really good. It feels like kind of a conclusion of a chapter to start working with red. Maybe I just listened to too many spiritual teachers who, in their turn, have been told that red can, open up for anger and frustration, and that coffee is no good to drink as a medium and such things. Maybe. You were looking for ASMR channels? Oh, I'm thinking of doing ASMR. In some form, in some way. I really want to do it because it feels like something that it's a way I really enjoy connecting to people that have them feel secure and safe, and to take a breather from the rest of everyday life, just like with healing. And ASMR could really do that. And I love ASMR myself. It will probably not be ASMR as we know it, but there's so many shapes and forms of it, but we'll find our way somehow. We'll see. That's why I wanted to read and to read out loud, because that's a form of ASMR, isn't it? And now we're thinking about writing. So first construct the words and then read them. But I would love to do some focused ASMR as well, if you get my point. But I'm so happy that you're here, Sluiceberries. I'm so happy that you find us and that you're still here and that you enjoy your time. It means a lot to me. I am very yellow today. I don't know what's going on with the lighting. Or maybe it's not. Yeah, there it is. Okay. I have to check it. If you didn't hear, also, we are working on our Discord channel. So I just want to tweak it a little. It is live, but I don't know how much you can tweak it. But I feel like I want to tweak it a little. And then we'll post it so everyone can join. What am I gonna do with these beads? We'll do it like this. It's a good tablecloth. Oh. All the colors together, it creates such harmony, doesn't it? We are heading into wintertime actually. Well, we are in wintertime now. It's GMT, the time zone is now GMT +1, which means now it's winter. And yesterday it's called. Yesterday when we came home, we have this old stove, or not stove, what's it called? How we heat our house is by burning wood in an old, I will say, stove now. And because that won't really, sorry, I'm just looking for reds. Because that's not enough to heat the whole house all the time, because we can't possibly be burning that much wood. We got some electric heating systems as well. Oh, there we got a red one. And I just forgot the word for it. I'm so tired. I've been spinning around, still spinning in my head around all these roundabouts, and all the traffic inside of them. So I can't find one word right now, it feels like. Radiator was the word I was looking for. So we got this electric radiator in our front room, and that's not front room as in living room, but in the very first room. It is a sort of a living room, but it's where you enter the house, so to speak. And why I choose the word front room is because it's quite a large room, and we got an electric radiator stood there. And when we came home yesterday, it was so cold and the radiator was switched off. So I just said, oh no, the power's out. And Bumper said, well, no, there's light outside, that's switched on and works properly. It's not, you know, that's not what happened. I said, yeah, the power must be out. The radiator's not on. That was the only reason I could imagine why it would not be there, because probably it took too much energy and we got some problems with having old cables and, an old, very old system in general with a very new, what's it called? Oh, I can't find one word today. That keeps track on it so we don't use too much energy at the same time, so that we will, so that it will start a fire. That easy. So I thought that's probably what happened. It got too much for the system to handle. But as it turned out, that was not what had happened. What had happened was, because we had changed position and we had redone the front room in small ways, but it had been done. We had then placed the radiator and connected it to the plug via the very same inlet or outlet as the lamp in the window. And we got a very small lamp there, which we use when it's dark outside. It's nothing weirder than that, which I usually switch off when we go to work, because it shouldn't be on all day, right? And so that's just what I do. And the radiator was then, because it had been plugged into the very same outlet as the light, when I switched that off, it's like this combo outlet, some sort of, yeah, it's a combo anyway. And I switched it off. And so, of course, I also switched off the radiator without knowing. So that's what happened. So that's why it was very cold when we got home. I'm just gonna read chat now. It's a very familiar experience. Believe we all have felt angelic influence in one way or another at some point in our lives. There's more than one way to synchronize your conscience with theirs. It brings much comfort to have certainty of their presence in their existence. Yeah. Oh, you understand. Thank you. I've got a friend who she's experiencing the angels via feathers. And you heard about this, and I've heard about it before as well. This where some people they perceive what is in, let's say, the fifth or sixth dimension in 3D objects, in three-dimensional objects. And that's not really how it's worked for me. I mean, there's sound and there is, interaction, definitely. Things are flying sometimes off the walls. But to add something from one dimension to another has not quite happened for me until I spent a day with her, and she really got feathers around her. Indoors, not coming from anywhere in this dimension. And to see that, because I first noticed it when we were outdoors still, and there were loads of birds around, so you don't really pay that much attention to it, you don't really think about it too hard. But then we walked on this path, even I get surprised because it's a new experience. And we were walking on this path and we took it in one direction, and we saw all these birds and some feathers, lying in the ground. But then when we came back the other direction, but on the very same path, there were so many more feathers. Maybe I just noticed them. Maybe I just paid more attention to them on the way back. But there were so many. And then when we got indoors and into our kitchen, and she prepared some tea for us. There came a feather, falling from the ceiling, just in the kitchen. And then they started to appear around her. And such a beautiful experience, because that's not how they communicate with me. And we know this, that it works in different way from each and every one of us, right? So to experience that in that way and to see these feathers in our three-dimensional world, beautiful, beautiful. But yeah, at home, things are flying off the walls sometimes. We had a couple of weeks ago, because there's always interaction, but they're usually very subtle. You can hear some footsteps, or they take the filters for the coffee machine. Where we lived before, we had this gentleman who visited us in energy, and he, come on, no, you don't wanna, okay, you don't have to, it's fine. We had this elderly gentleman who loved his coffee, he must have, because what happened was he would take a filter for the coffee machine, or for the brewer, maybe I should say, because that's how we make a coffee, and he would take one filter and then hand us something else in return. So we could find, a box of matches. Oh, that's actually in the 3D world, right? So I have experienced it in some way, but I haven't really thought about it. Oh, interesting. Now my mind just opens up for what I've actually experienced before. I love this, seeing it from different perspectives. So yes, anyways, he would take these filters, and we knew he would, and we know he did because they simply disappeared. And we would get something in return. One day he had gotten so many of those filters piled up that we got the entirety of what's it called? Where you can place a cake up on, and you got like these. You got this plate, and then you got this surrounding. What's it called? The what's it called? I can't find words like today. But we got a full set of a cake holder. Let's call it that, or something that keeps the cake fresh. With a plate and the securing plastic. This was around it, but in the shape, right? And you know what I'm talking about. We got that. Was all of a sudden in our cupboards. And then, like I said, we had some. I'm just gonna change the music. We had some boxes of matches given to us. That was the usual, and a spoon one day. And then when we moved house, he came with us for a little while. He's probably still with us, but he showed himself a lot in the beginning, and he took care of, of the house for us. And one day we got this huge, heavy, I don't know what it was. It must have been from an old chimney or something. But it was something that was homemade, you could tell. And that was probably for, it was for some sort of, to regulate the airstream of the chimney, I would suppose. But it was heavy. It was really heavy, and it was, very old, and you could see that it'd been used a lot, and it was so many different parts to it, and in such a heavy material. And that was given to us. All of a sudden, it was just laying there on the floor in our outhouse. Not outhouse as in the outdoor loo, but in an outhouse. It was just there. We were cleaning up, and all of a sudden, you can call it a garage. Um, there it was, just there on the floor, right in front of us. That was given to us. I still don't know what to do with it, but it was given to us. And then when we were, I'm just gonna show what I'm doing. I'm still just all the stream. I'm just gonna work on his sleeping bag, but he is cute, isn't he? The little doggo, who we were so sure were gonna be a dinosaur or a dragon, and it turned out to be a dog, a little puppy. So where were? Yes, things that were being given. Yeah, oh, he took care of the house. Yes. So when we were mowing our lawn, we did with an electric trimmer or an electric mower, but not a very big one. Uh, for the kind of lawn that we got, we would need a bigger one. And actually, we heard today that our tractor's ready to get picked up, so that's really good news. But yeah, we need a tractor, in essence. But we had this electric trimmer or this electric lawnmower. And what we would do was that in the garage, let's call it a garage. This definitely is an outhouse though, but it's an outdoor building anyway, and on our property. And we put the lawnmower there, and then you charge it in there as well. And then sometimes I would forgot to take the battery out once it was charged, because it was one of them when you replace the battery, or you don't replace it, but you take it out of the lawnmower and you put it into the charge pad, and then you obviously have to, turn or switch the charge pad off. It switches itself off, but it's still electrified, it's electrified, but it's still plugged in, so to speak. So it was important because it was in another house that I remember to unplug the charger. And one time I didn't remember. And I think it was in there, we happened a couple of times, but this one time in particular, we got some help. So what happened was that it had been plugged in, and I had forgotten about it, and a couple of days later I remembered. So I went in there and was gonna, unplug it, and it was already unplugged. This gentleman had pulled the plug out, and he had hung the sorry, I'm just trying to find. All neat and secure was the cable hanging also. The cable for the charger was hanging. He had placed. I put it hanging very, not subtle at all over the lawnmower. So it's really like, look what I've done. I helped you. You're welcome. And before you ask, it was not my fiance. He did. Well, it could have been, but. And one time he even set a fire for us. Scary, but it's true. I haven't seen him for a while though. I don't know who it was. We think that he was already in the apartment that we lived in before. And we think that he had something to do with, because there had been a fire station before the apartment block where we lived. So he was very attached to the ground floor, and we lived on the second floor. But I think he was there when we moved there, and then when we moved house, I think he simply, I don't know if he joined us and moved with us, but he wanted to come along for a little while at least. And it's a beautiful experience, but he's still got his ego, I could find him being stood watching me shower, for example. That could happen. But he was also very gentle and very kind. And when the water, when our cat has drunk all the water, and we went to bed, for example, and hadn't noticed, there would come this voice from the kitchen that just said, empty, but in Swedish. So, yeah. No, he was really kind. Also a little bit creepy. He was still human, you know, he still had his ego, but well, a shower, yeah. Well, you know, what would you do if you were an energy? I don't know what I would do, but the ego was still there, you know. So, and we had to share space, so maybe, yeah, okay, he did that on purpose. I shouldn't try to say anything else. But yeah. And before that, we met we had a friend with us for a long while actually. Me and my fiance would like to work with Ouija boards before. They're still called in English, right? And oh, I'm just thinking what I'm gonna do. And during one session with a Ouija board, there came this energy through of a very, very kind gentleman who had been a seaman and loved playing the piano. And he was such a kind soul, and he wanted to have fun. He made the table dance, and that for real. You know, you heard these stories where you don't have to hold on to the table, they would just dance on its own. That's what he had made it do, sorry. Oh, lullabies, we don't need walls. Rain. Okay. I just let the music be whatever it is. Dream yourself smooth. Well, that's a title and a half, isn't it? um, but yes, so, and he was such a kind soul, and he had fun. He had real fun, and you could see where we placed the table after we had this encounter, because yeah, after we had this encounter with this, well, via this specific wire table. After that, you could see the markings in the floor because when we went to sleep, and then each and every morning you could see new markings on the floor where the table had moved quite violently, probably to do these markings. And then when we moved house to the apartment, we took the table with us, and he came with us as well. This energy, and um, then you could see new markings coming up where we placed that table. But it was so much fun, and he was with me whilst I was still in school. So he would come up with some, you know, he would have fun during lessons, and he would play with the teacher and have the equipment not working. And, you know, and when I was still at home living with my parents, he would, well, my parents at the time, because they didn't really believe, and they still don't do. They don't understand what I work with, and they don't really believe. You know, they believe that when you're dead, you're lying in the ground. You're a skeleton in the ground, and that's okay. Every truth is a truth, right? And we don't know what happens, but that's what they believe in. And he had so much fun playing with them. So we had this kitchen lamp over the kitchen table. Wait, what you could pull down, and you could readjust the height of it, and or how low it was hanging. And he loved to just pull that all the way down. And then my dad would come into the kitchen and say, "What's wrong with this lamp? You know, it keeps can't it hold its own weight?" And then he tries to readjust it, and it works perfectly. You know, it's nothing wrong with it at all. And then he would leave the room, and when he comes back again, it's just pulled down. And then they would complain about, you hear about this with spirits. They usually talk a lot about chills, getting chills and how the room feels chilly and such. It's not really that way for me, but it seemed to be the way for my parents, because when he was about and when he was playing around, uh, they started to complain about it being cold. So that was really interesting. But yeah, I remember one particular time he was with me and my fiance on the bus, and we were sat right in front of us. Well, there's space for wheelchair, or when you got a carrier, or this bigger space where you can have well, what it might be. And we were sat just in front of that, and he was stood in this space, and there was no one there. And this was in a bigger city, or a larger city, so people came and wanted to be stood in that space. They wanted to stand where we could see that the energy of him was stood or were located. However, in whatever dimension, but we could see that he was there, and people kept on trying to stand there, and no one wanted to stay. And you could see how they would become uncomfortable. And I don't think it was because we stared at them, because we didn't. I hope that was not the reason. What we could see was that he was letting them stand there for a bit, and then he started to move. And they could probably feel the difference in frequencies or in frequency. So they started to feel uncomfortable. And then comes this one gentleman who decided he wanted to stand there. That was his place. He was gonna stand there until um, until it stopped, until it was time for him to get off. Until he was where he was supposed to go, until his stop. And he was, prominent. He was gonna stand there, and you could see this energy starting to tickle him. And you could see how the man started to, like someone were tickling him. And we had it was so funny. Didn't hurt anyone, of course. I hope not. I hope that he's okay, the man. But it was so funny. And then, because my then mother didn't believe and still don't believe, like I said, uh, we were driving, or she was driving us somewhere, and we were in the back seat, and she started to talk about people, killing their engines. And how she made a little laugh about it, or not in a bad way, but she just expressed that, well, it happens to other people. And just as she said it, he made her engine go. And of course, that could have been done to coincidence, but we could see the smirk on his face, so it was real fun. And it's so fun sometimes, yeah. And we also met, he had his boyfriend with him, who was a very timid soul. And he was with us for a while as well, but not at all in this way. So he was more timid, so it was interesting to see the difference. But I miss them, the two of them, actually. It was so much fun. I hope that, I don't know what happens, to energy. I have no idea, but it was so much fun having them with us for a while. So I guess I do have some experience in the 3D world as well. But not like the feathers, like I said, because that was, wow, so beautiful. Oh. Yeah, I met many energies. And what I find so fascinating is, and I started to think about this, I think I've talked about it before. There were just gonna check if we can loop it around. Can we? Yes, we can. Oh dear, we should have a couple of beads ago. I'm talking too much, guys. Mr. Otter, keep track of me. Look at this. This is not good. Let's see how we're gonna put it. It wants to go on top. I don't want it to wrap that way. No, I want it to go underneath. I was secured in a couple of locations. Yeah, you better be sorry. No, it's fine. It's perfectly alright. Oh, you were busy hearing the story and I was busy telling it. Oh. So who cares for the pup? What did I just do? This was not what I intended. I'm gonna have to start securing it where the needle's at, of course. It's just like when I'm driving. I have to look ahead. I'm thinking of if I have something else to share. Look, now it went underneath. We're starting to see the shape of it. I think it would be good. Maybe it's a scarf that he wrapped himself in. I'm just gonna continue and we'll see where we land. We'll have to see. Hi guys! This is what we're working with. It's a little doggo, little puppy, and I'm giving him a sleeping bag or a scarf. Maybe it's mommy's or daddy's scarf that he found. I have no idea. We'll see. Sorry, I'm gonna change the music. So yeah, I apologize. The stream is very chill. I'm very tired, and we're just gonna be here. I'm not gonna do any energy reading, but if anything comes through, of course we'll work with it. Otherwise, feel free to ask me anything and just be here, chatting with me. Looks so well done. Oh, thank you. You can see if I can show it even more. Maybe this. Oh, there it is. There he is. I'm hoping to be able to. I think he's perfect the way he is. We're learning, but thank you so much, Mr. Otto. You know it means a lot. Hi, you lurkers, you beautiful people. How are you doing? Oh, if you are in our community and if you are watching the VOD from Friday, Bempus and I, tried to do a stream, the two of us. And we tried to stream, so we never streamed the two of us, and we tried to do some chill Minecraft. I really hope that you guys want to join on Fridays, because Bempus is doing such an amazing work, and he's got such a beautiful interaction with you in the community. I really want to be able to give him this. You know, I want to be able to give him, for it to be history, you know? he was the one who wanted to start streaming, and of course we're gonna do energy readings and healing and all of it, but I also really wanted to be a chance for him to interact with our community, you know? So we did a test stream this Friday, and you can find the VOD. If you join the VOD, be careful and mind your ears. We had no idea how anything would work, and we couldn't hear ourselves or how the stream were. So mind your ears and bear with us through the tiredness of that stream. But we had fun, and I'm really looking forward to being able to come back every Friday and for it to be his chance, you know, because he does so much. I want to be able to give that to him because he gives me, you know, for me to be able to do what I love, it's such a privilege, and it's because he can provide us, you know, he can provide a family with doing what he loves but still working, you know, a 9 to 5, or actually a 7 to 4. So we go up in the mornings, we leave home at 6, and we come home around 6, so 12 hours. I know there's many of you also can resonate with that. Sorry, I'm just changing the music. But there's many hours. So we were a little bit tired on Friday, but I really want us to be able to go through with them streams because I want to give that to him. Truly. Oh, okay. Oop. I think these beads are so beautiful. Oh, I say and put them so that you can't see them. And also, like I said, I'm tweaking on with Discord. So we are setting up a Discord server. If you, but would love, if you see this in any shape or form, I'm so sorry, but I missed the invites to Discord, all of them. I'm so sorry, but thank you so much for sending them, truly. It's just, it gets a lot, you know, and we're dealing with exhaustion, so it's so easy to do our work, having a client and doing a session, or being streaming on Twitch, whatever it is, it's so easy to then just say, okay, let's go home, and then you just forget. So I apologize. I am human too, and I'm so sorry that I missed them all. But we are working on our very own Discord channel and a Discord server. I just want to tweak it. We do work a lot, but he works each and every day, and I have the privilege to be home when I feel I don't have the energy to go to work, and he has to work each and every day. And then it's not easy living with me also, so it's a lot of work. I hope he's fine. So to give this as Friday stream to him, come on guys, let's do that, right? Once a week. Let's give him the opportunity to interact with the community. Why is it not easy to live with me? Well, I'm me. No, it's just we all turn out different depending on what we've gone through. And I've got a lot of paranoia and a lot of anger built up inside of me. And I know it sounds weird to say that as someone who should be a counselor, but I am human too. And being able to do what I love and being able to be there for other people also helps me a lot. But I got a lot of paranoia and anxiety, and that is mostly why it's not easy to be around me when I'm home. But it gets better and better. And like I said, how can I be genuine in my work if my work is to help people being themselves, if I'm not myself as I'm there, you know? Having any simple makes you human, makes you real. Yeah, I know. But we all got this feeling of having to achieve and to be better than what we can be, right? It's part of being human, I know. But no matter, for me, it would mean so much being able to give that to him, the streams, because he wanted to start streaming, and he did for a very short, actually it was just one stream I think, or two, and for a couple of years ago, a couple of years ago. So let's give that to him, right? I was with a client yesterday, and this is something that I think is important to talk about as well, is to care too much, you know? Because I know, Mr. Otter, you said that to me before, that I care too much about things, and I know that's my personality, that's who I am. But it really came to show yesterday because I was with a client and I forgot about the time. I knew that I went deep into this, and I knew that it was always something new coming up, and I just wanted to be there for them instead of taking a step back, you know, and saying, okay, I give you this, and then you need time to work with what has come up, you know. I just wanted to do right by my client, and the time just ticked on, and at the end of it my client said, oh, is that really the time? And then at that point Bempus had been sitting outside waiting for an hour for me. And that being said, the client had arrived. I think that the session turned out to be 2.5 hours, and they're supposed to be 1 to 1.5. So I need to control this, and I think that it will get better and better the more clients I get. But I just simply, sometimes I should listen to George Lissas, the one who, together with a woman, I can't remember her name now, but who's got this course that I'm taking, that just started today. He said that sometimes love says no, and I need to work with that. We all have something that we want to work on, which makes it worth going up in the morning, right? Change and the wish for change and the possibility is so beautiful. It makes us curious, and curiosity is the best thing I know in human behavior. That's me. So I need to work. I know I need to work on that. Definitely. But that taught me something, right? But Mr. Otter, as always, thank you so much for your comments. And it's true what you're saying. More of us should listen to that. You know, we are a mirror, each and every one of us. And we are so similar. I talk about this so much, but we are so similar and we are so different. But we are mirrors. And when we are at home in ourselves, all those responsibilities external responsibilities and feeling of what we have to do and who we have to be and who we have to show appreciation for and how we show appreciation for the ones we love, and we're not spending enough time and we're spending too much time, and all of this, if we can find a way to feel at home, at least in the neighborhoods, in ourselves, then all those things, should I stream, should I not, they will come naturally, is what I believe. Oh, Mr. Otter, thank you so much. I hope you are teaching me a lot so that I can give something in return. That truly means a lot. What was it, the joke I heard? It was so good. It was here on Twitch, someone else's channel. What was the joke? Today I learned the description. No, I can't remember. But it was about I learned about much. It means a lot. Or what was it? It was really good. It was a pun. I can't remember now. But Mr. Otter, that means so much. I'm so happy that you can enjoy your time and that you are here in our little community. Hopefully you will feel right to join our server as well on Discord. I'm really looking forward to Discord, you know? It sounds so much fun and be able to have this interaction. I'm not sure how it works, but to just have this community in another shape, in another form, and to be able to talk to one another. That makes me thrilled. Makes me so happy. All I'm doing today, guys, is this little sleeping bag. So that is all that it's gonna be, I think. But I love to just hang out and chat with you. Eee! Careful. There we are. You make an account to join us. Oh, that's so sweet, Mr. Otter. Do so, please. And let's have some fun, right? I'm just gonna see if I can tweak it, and then we will set it up for everyone to join. That warms my heart, what you just said. And like I said, I hope that some content can... I just want to be a friend. Just a fellow human being, sharing some time and some perspectives, as we all can. And soon, I will get my license, my driving license. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. To being able to, you know, to come and meet clients where they feel comfortable. Some maybe usually you shouldn't have sessions at your place, at home, but maybe some want to. And to be able to provide that would mean so much. And you know the fun part, for getting the license, you need to test to drive in really bad conditions, meaning on ice, or I think it's really slippery anyway. I don't think it's ice, I think it's worse than ice. But really, you need to test to drive in a very slippery condition. And it is controlled in a controlled environment. And I am doing this on my birthday. It's gonna be a fun birthday. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. Oh. I'm really looking forward to that. Jonathan, my fiance, said it was the best thing about practicing driving was doing those controlled environments. It's not a simulation, but I guess some kind of simulation because it's, you know, in a room, I think. I have no idea, but it's gonna be fun. We're gonna be driving in really slippery conditions. It's gonna be fun. And it's gonna teach me a lot, I think. Oh, hello, Fabian. I hope it's okay I use your real name. Hi. Welcome back. Sorry for that voice. How are you doing? You okay? When will I get it? Well, it depends on how I do, right? But I'm set up to take the test in a month's time. So the 2nd of December, actually. It's gonna be fun. Oh, Dolan, hi. I am... Oh, we're creating this little puppy. Oh, oh no. See if we can see him. I'm giving him a sleeping bag. Oh, that's all right. You know, Fabian, I didn't even know I was going to stream today. I was so tired after practicing driving because we went around and around in roundabouts. And I was so tired after a while. And also with the exhaustion, it was not an easy morning for me today. But so I called, I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself, but I called Jonathan and said, is it okay if I don't stream? Are you still happy with me? Because we had a little bit of a fallout this morning. I just wanted to check that all was good, and sometimes we get paranoid, you know? So I spent a long while talking to him about how it would be okay for the business and all if I didn't stream. And then I just felt, you know what? But I do want to stream. Streaming should be fun, and if you don't feel like it, then it's more than okay to take a break. Yeah, I feel the same. I understand where you're coming from. But I'm fine. Maybe it's a sleeping bag, and maybe it is just someone. Maybe he found this scarf. I said this before. Maybe it's mommy or daddy's scarf, or maybe it's a bin bag. I have no idea what it is. We'll get to see. Thank you, Miss Rata. Truly, thank you so much, guys, for your love. Honestly, I've been streaming so irregularly and not telling anyone when I will go live and not, and still my community is here. Ah, you lovely people. I hope I can give something back. Truly. Oh, and Fabian, and the rest of you who joined. I just wanted to say that to you as well. I worked with angels yesterday during a healing session. So beautiful. I just felt I wanted to say that. Mm, thank you. I hope you can see my love through the exhaustion. Speaking of which, I was thinking about exhaustion pipes now, and yes, our car is finally fixed. It was a little hole that gone through with the rust um, on the exhaustion pipe, and that was apparently not the only problem with it, but it was the only problem with it for it not to go through or to get, you know, markings on this is not okay to drive, because they couldn't check how environmentally friendly the car was, which is not. That car, we do drive an electric car, but that one is from 2001, so it is, I think it's not that good, but we love the car. Regardless, it took us all the way to England. One day we decided that we are going to drive to England, and we're going to drive to England in a week's time. And we did, and that car got us there. So, um, but yes, and we didn't know how to fix it because they told us that because it's an old car, it's not that old, but it is a special kind of car, and it was a race car, not a race car, but it was a more of a sports car, let's say like that, let's put it like that, and not many were made. And even though it's just an exhaustion pipe or exhaust pipe, they didn't actually have the materials to even create a new one in the facility in Japan, where they shipped the materials from. Even there, they couldn't, you know, it couldn't be done. So now Jonathan's dad found someone who could help us, and it has now been done. So we will get our car back, hopefully this weekend, which means that we can then go get our tractor, which has also been fixed, so we can then mow our lawn before Christmas, before snow. So I'm so happy. And then maybe I will be able to drive the car as well. Good car. Yeah, we love that car. Oh, I could tell you there's so much things. You know, I think I've said it before, when we were gonna move house to a house from an apartment, more experienced, beautiful people, and adults. We were also adults, but who had been adults for a while and who had the experiences with house and houses and housing, said that, you know, it's a lot. Having a house, owning a house, it happens a lot, and it's a lot. And we just said, yeah, we know, but it's gonna be fine. We didn't really listen to that ear, you know, as young adults. And then now, 3 years in, we've understood what they talked about. So that's really fun, actually. We have now got to the point that I think I said it before, but I really like the line of what needs to happen in order for it all to happen, so to speak. For you who just joined, I just want to show this is what we are making. We are giving this little puppy a sleeping bag or something that he has curled up with. And it's red. Never worked with red before, but today we are. What has gone down is that we have since half a year back, and even now I feel like it's a tough thing to talk about because I know people who don't even have a roof over their heads. So I get this moral, you know, here I am. But I still think it's a fun story because it's what happening to us. So that moral bit aside, which I'm still paranoid about, and I like to talk about, because we should be happy that we, you know, even got a place we can call home. But that aside, what I wanted to tell you and how it all lines up and why we find it quite funny is that we haven't had. Okay, so first off, since we bought the house, we haven't repainted it, and it is old. It needs redoing, the paint, at least. So last year we said we want to paint the house, and then we decided to go to England instead. And so we said, okay, but this summer I will paint the house. I said, we're definitely gonna paint the house this summer. And then our pipe work stopped working in the kitchen and also from the loo, but that's fine as long as it don't, it's cracked. And from the kitchen, it's, there's roots going into it, into the drains, or to the draining system, so to speak. So we couldn't use that, obviously, in the kitchen. So they came and took a look at it, and when they got into the pipe and the piping system, there was a backlog, and there was a fountain, spring, all those things that was, well, it was from the kitchen, but it was so much fat, and it went all over the house, or the sides of the building of the house. So I thought, okay, you know what, let's fix this first and then I'll paint the house. And it was in the beginning of summer. So they say, okay, let's fix this first. This doesn't happen again when I've repainted the house, and then I'll paint the house. So we didn't have a drain, and we still don't. That's the story. But so in order to paint the house, we needed the draining being redone. And in order to get the draining to get redone, we needed to have people coming over and looking at where all the electricity and water cables are in our lawn, and if there are any. And then they have to mark it, so when they come to dig, they know where to be extra careful and where not to dig. So that needed to be done. But in order for that to get done, obviously we needed to mow the lawn. So so they could paint the grass. And if the grass is too long, of course it can still get painted, but it felt like we need to lawn it first, to mow it. Lawn it? We need to lawn the lawn. We need to mow the lawn. And because that hadn't been done, because our tractor had been a little bit upset with us, and we couldn't really find a way. We've changed so many things in that tractor that we don't know if it's still the same tractor. So we needed the tractor to get fixed, and we didn't really know how to get it fixed, but then we found someone who could fix it for us, and we went in and we got it fixed. And that needed us to be able to transport it to the facility, of course, where they were going to fix it. And for that, we needed a car that could, that we could hook it onto, to hook the, what's it called? The caravan, not the caravan, but, where we can transport it with the, what's it called? The little carrier that you hook up your car to. It's not a small carrier, but I can't remember what it's called now, but you get the drift. That tractor went up on. And oh, the house is in red. Yeah, a little bit of red, a little bit of pink, pinkish red. We wanted it, and then we want the windows to be blue. It's what we want. Your Scandinavian house is painted red and white. That's our house. Yeah, it's from 1800s, or actually, it's from the 1700s. So, and it's out in the countryside in the woods, so it's exactly that. But it needs repainted. It needs to be repainted. But anyway, we So we needed the tractor, okay. And then we had this that we could hook it up on, but we needed a car that could transport it, right? That could have it getting done. And that we did have a car, but as you know, the exhaustion pipe. And as you know, Japan, no, you know, like there were no materials to order. There were no materials anywhere. And this is a Toyota. That's why they said that even the facilities in Japan didn't have what we were looking for, so they couldn't do anything. So, why our house hasn't got painted this summer is because we have not gotten our drain fixed. So that it won't, you know, cover the house with fat and with grease. Sorry, grease, that's not what I was looking for, with grease. Uh, because we haven't been able to mow our lawn. No, that's not the real, you know, issue because they still haven't gotten time for us. But still, we need to mow the lawn to get mowed because we haven't got the tractor, because we can't pick the tractor up, because we haven't had our car fixed. So that's a little story, and now the car's been fixed. So, and the winter is here. Will I show you your house? Yeah. I was thinking if I've got a picture on my phone that I could show you, but I don't think it's on this one actually. But yeah, definitely. Um, it was torn even because there was jungle in front of the house. Yep. Indeed. It's not that bad, but we want it to be, you know, really easy to do the markings. So, yeah, that's the story. But so we still haven't got any drainage from the kitchen, and actually we haven't got any inlets of water into the kitchen as well because there's so much what's it called? There's so much well, it's the water is so we need a filter for it because it is breaking, it's literally breaking the well, everything apart. Every machinery that uses it, everything just breaks apart. So we got no inlet into the kitchen because the kitchen sink and the kitchen tap, it is all actually broken through from inside. So it's leaking. And and we can't fix that because it's being an old house and everything is handmade, not handmade, but it's handiwork from someone who done it themselves. There is no there is no way to switch the water off or to turn the water supply off into the house. So we thought, obviously, we're gonna ask because they're gonna be here fixing the drain and the drainage. Then we can ask them how can we switch the water off. But they never came, so so that's the story. Oh dear. But a couple of months in without any we're taking water from the bathroom to doing the dishes in a plastic box in the sink and then taking the sink out uh, and then refilling it with water and dishes and taking water from the bathroom with a couple of months of that, which is still better than what many people have. We know this, but for us it was a little bit exhausting. And with a couple of months of that, and then Jonathan realized, wait a minute, the dishwasher still works. There's just no drainage. So just like let us just buy a huge bucket or a bucket that can hold 25 liters because that's what it takes, you know? And then we'll just have the water go out into the bucket, and then we can just, you know, go outside with a bucket instead, which spares us a lot for you know, it spares a lot of water as well. And we realized this a couple of months in. So yeah, that's the story. So am I paranoid about our house not being painted and for mold to take grip of it? Yes. And for it to break apart? Yes. That's why I wanted to paint it last summer. So, hey, that's the life of us. Sounds like you live at a near heaven spot. Oh, so sweet having a Scandinavian house near or inside the woods. You know what? We should appreciate it more. We really should, because it is so beautiful. And we got these 2 big trees greeting you in front of the house. These 2 maple trees on either side of a very a little road, not a very big one, and it's mostly a road just because you drive there with your car. It's mostly just grass and some gravel. And you got these 2 maple trees greeting you as you drive up to the house. Ah, it is so beautiful, and we should appreciate it more. Why I say this is because I still want to come home, you know, back to England. But oh dear, we really should appreciate it more. Oh, if you ever should be in your town, we come over to say hello and share up the house for its good work. Do so. Oh, you're so welcome to. This house, I mean, having been there since the 17, what would that be? The 1800, right? Um, it made so many people happy, and it's such interesting stories because it really is a house where not many people have stayed. They've been there, they lived there, they've been happy, and then they moved on. And the energy, it really is, you know, oh, everything is okay. You know, it really is just cheering you on. So, yeah. I noticed you complimented my English. Thank you so much, by the way. That means a lot. I don't know if you heard it before, the story behind it. I said I wanted to go back home to England. And I say back to England, meaning I've spent so many lives in England. And in this life, I only visited twice. But I've got my twin, my telepathic twin in England, and I miss home. I do. To be able to work in English, even though today I haven't found any words, it feels like it's a privilege. But yeah, we should definitely appreciate what we've got, because it's so beautiful, and we hope that it could provide some joy for not just future generations, but also in this generation. And we were thinking what we were going to do with it, because we love animals, both humans and other species. And we wanted to have goats and ducks, and yeah, ducks and goats especially. And we got our cats. But then we had this feeling that we could be a paternal home, or the last home for ill animals, or for old animals who are ill but still got this, you know, this, you can see the hope of life in their eyes. And we were thinking of opening up a home for them, so it's the last resort kind of way. And not last resort to you got nothing else, but a resort for your last period in life, for cats and dogs and then other animals. We had a thought of that. we'll be able to house and maintain so many animals? That is a really good question. We wouldn't have too many of them, and if we would have that home, why we are a little bit, we don't really, usually the regulations for this is for them to be kept in cages for their own good, and that's not really how we would like to have it. We would like them to roam free, no matter if we're talking about ducks, goats, or these resorts, you know. We want the souls that live with us to roam free inside the house and outside, and then of course having spaces that feels extra secure if someone wants them, if being needed, of course. But we never experienced, you know, souls not, for some reason the house is cheering everyone up. So when we've taken care of, especially a dear friend of ours, her dog's been with us for a period of time, with her also, and we had some dogs coming in, some cats, and you know, it never seems like no one, it seems like everyone gets along, you know, not like, oh, we're super besties, but that it's fine, that we feel secure no matter. But everyone is an individual, so of course we will also have to have spaces for who feels insecure, definitely. But we would not like to keep them for the last period of their lives trapped in cages, no matter how big the cage. That's not what we would want. So because of them regulations, we are considering a little how to do and how to get it done. But yeah, the thought's definitely there. Then also I would like to, in some way, I would like a lot of us can feel, I would also like, because we have so much property, you know, I would love to be able to share that with someone that it could help somehow. People shouldn't, I mean, everyone should find their home. Everyone should be home, given the ability to be at home, both within themselves and externally, both in themselves and around themselves. And in some way, I hope that we can provide that. And meaning both for everyone, for every kind of species, human, non-human, cats, dogs, ducks, goats, and people without a home. I just like to do something, you know? That's just how I feel. Terror duck running through the house chasing for its prey. Sarah. Oh, I knew I should have put it in the cages. Well, then you know who will be stuck in a cage, right? I would. Now I know in my heart that I will come back home to England, and when we do, I really hope that the house here in Sweden, that it can provide someone with all that beautiful love that it truly gives, you know, that it truly brings. I really hope so. But I know that I've got this velvet blue door waiting for me in northern England, and I want to come home. But now we're here, and first off, we find the home in ourselves. And I mean, sitting here doing this, talking to you, and boy, the music loud in my ear. Sorry. There we are. Oh, I just saw the time. About time again, right? Jonathan will be here any minutes and we will head home then. But until then, I enjoy this. Oh, I still enjoy it, but you know. Ah! I'm gonna change the music. But yeah, I know that blue velvet blue door in the countryside in northern England, next to some shops, some cafes, pubs. A pub? I was gonna say pubs, but I thought maybe a pub where I can sit in the midst of everything and write my stories. And then I can have clients giving healing, having sessions. I know it's there, you know, I know it exists. And I carry it in my heart. I love how we live now, but it's very secluded, you know. It's been a village, but now most people use it as summer homes. And I want back to that village feeling. I just know it still exists, you know. And to be able to sit there in the pub or in a cafe and observing. I love observing. And then going home, you know, and having clients, all this that I've already said. I know it's there. I know it exists. And when we find our way there, I hope that we have been able to take in, to give in the home that we got here in Sweden, that we're giving it all the love and attention that it deserves, and so that it can aspire someone else to find it in themselves, to be home. Maybe this is why not many people have stayed. Maybe this is what the building does, you know? It truly shows. Maybe it just wants to be alone. Yeah, look, I just wanted to show you who has joined, what we are doing. A little puppy in. I'm starting to think, I have no idea what it is. We will see. Maybe we'll never know. But it is red. And it's definitely cozying up in something. Mm. I've only been to England twice, and last time I went, it was so interesting. Not even interesting. Like, I had such a difficulty learning English. I just couldn't. I know I said this. I know I talked about this before, but I just couldn't because there was so much going on in my childhood. During my childhood, I didn't have any place. I didn't have any space in my brain to learn a new language. It was just too much. And so I had such a difficulty, and I was tutored for so long. And we learned American English in school, and then all of a sudden one day it was just there. And call it British accent or not, but this, whatever it is, it was just there. And my then father couldn't no longer help me with my studies because he couldn't understand he couldn't understand my language because he thought he'd gotten too advanced overnight. And I mean, there's reasons for it, and there's probably other reasons than being my telepathic twin, definitely. But this was how I experienced it. And then people start laughing at me, you know, because we have people from different countries in our family, in our closest family, in our, what's it called, in our near family, yeah. We sometimes talk English, and it's been going on for a long time. My brother is married to a beautiful woman from Costa Rica. My sister is now married to a man from Italy. So it was English that we started to talk. And every time we were sat at the table talking English, people in my family were laughing at me because of my accent. They thought I was making it up. And then last time we went to England and we went to this place that I can't disclose because it has to do with the system. Unfortunately, or definitely not unfortunately, but yeah. And now Bumpus is here. I'm just gonna tell this story till its end, and then we can end, right, guys? Yeah. It's about English again. That's all. And so we went to this place, and all I wanted to say was that all of a sudden people understood me and they were not laughing at me. So that's that. That's everything. That's all I wanted to say. Oh, I have to stop now. Ah! So we are using English as a common language. Yeah. Did you hear what I just said? I said you all use a English. So you all use an English. No, I don't know what I said. But yeah, we use English as a common language. Maybe English. Maybe that's when you work with angels. I don't know. But yeah, we do. And I love it. That's the fun part as well. When we get together, one of the best parts for me is that, oh, right, I just realized I get to talk English. Yeah, so that's it. Okay, you guys, Bumpus is here now. You wanna say hi or no? No, no, he's tired. I can understand that. Remember what I said, Mr. Otter and Fabian? You remember now? Yeah, keep it a secret. I'm just glancing in Jonathan's direction. Let's do this. Okay. So this is what we made today. It's still the same puppy, and we are simply surrounding him in something cozy for him. That's all. Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot. It truly does. And Mr. Otter, I wish for the same. I'm gonna be home tomorrow, so for me it's fine, but you know, we need to have to get the fire to get going, and then we have to cook some dinner, which is always Jonathan's place by the oven. I feel sorry for him as well, but I think he likes it. I think he enjoys. Oh, sorry, I think he enjoys it. But and he then has to get up at around 5. Well, he has to leave by 6 again. So yeah, I hope that it would be a good evening. Thank you so much, Mr. Otter, and thank you so much, Fabian, and everyone else. Thank you so much for joining, and oh yeah, thank you, Fabian. I will remember. Thank you for your supporting words, and yes, I will definitely. It sounds like what's her name? The method, Kokari method. I don't want to mispronounce her name. Mary, what's her name? You guys know who I'm talking about, right? She's talking about how she always wants to greet and thank the house before she starts cleaning, the cleaning process, or the cleansing. I guess it's both a cleansing and a cleaning, right? It just made me think about that. But yeah, I will. Thank you so much. And take care now. I'm gonna do it like this so you can see my little face and the little puppy. And then we will head off and head home. I will not have him wait an hour again, right? I told him that story. He's smiling. Okay. I don't want to leave you guys, can you tell? Take care. All the love, truly, and take care now. See you soon. Thursday, should be on as usual. We'll see. And then Friday, you know. We'll see what happens. Take care now. Bye. Oh, the loves. Thank you for being here. See you on Discord. Bye.